Okay, we are now live on
Алло?
Design Upgrade YouTube. For anybody who is online now, please turn your camera on, but please mute yourself. We are about to begin the pitch streaming and question and answer session for the European Design Upgrade Hackathon. So if you just mute yourself and make sure that your cameras are turned on. To get started, I would like to welcome everybody to the pitch streaming. Design Upgrade YouTube. Just 1 second, there's a little bit of...
Блядь, ну как я включу камеру?
There's someone currently on. Could you please mute yourself? Thank you. Okay, let's start again. Yes, welcome everybody to the pitch streaming session for the European Design Upgrade Hackathon. The teams have been putting a tremendous effort in all weekend, and we are now at the final stage of this where the jury will actually choose the winners. But before that, we have to show what they've actually created. Before we begin the pitch streaming, I will hand over to Kari, the director from Urban Mill here in Finland, to give a little bit more insight into the hackathon. The floor is yours, Kari.
Thanks, Ian. So regards from Urban Mill from Espoo Innovation Garden. I welcome also you all teams, mentors and UltraHack team, and also you who look this through the YouTube. This is the final session now in this hack and part towards the Dutch Design Week with the chosen teams. So it has been a wonderful weekend and intensive. I think that we all are a little bit tired because if we think that we have almost 20 teams, almost 30 mentors who have been actively in Slack and in Zooms talking with each other. I had the last call a little bit before 2 in the morning and the first today after 7, so that it has been quite intensive. But now we are in the situation that it's time to look what has done and give the jury the floor. Besides me is Markku Markkula here, the jury member. So he is sitting here also at Urban Mill. But I want to have good luck for you in the competition, but I think that the most important is what happens then after this in the collaboration, what we will do the whole autumn. So I will give now floor to Igor, who tells a little bit about the judging and the judges. Igor, please.
Yes, I'm connecting. Hello, everyone. My name is Igor Kamendo. I'm director of NGO Go Local, which is a partner, implementation partner of this project, Edu project in Ukraine. And also I'm a team member of a jury. So dear participants, dear jury, dear mentors, dear all who are watching us right now in YouTube, let me welcome you on the final pitch with your projects. We made a really good job taking into account the circumstances that we faced this year. But no obstacles could make us fail to bring to life this main idea of the project, that when design, technologies and different perspectives come together, we all obtain tremendous result and a real change to this world. So let me briefly describe further steps. So we are today selecting 9 teams that will go on to the next stage of Dutch Design Week 2020. These projects will work in September and October on prototypes and on proper presentation of their projects on Dutch Design Week. But all other participants, please don't feel sad, as we will also support you during this stage in September and October with mentoring and with all kind of support from Ukraine, Belgium and Finland. So let me present our jury for today. So first jury member is Kari Mikkela. You all know our partner from Finland. And the second member of jury from Finland is Markku Markkula. He is the chair of board at ESPO. So Marco, we're glad having you today in jury panel. So next one, we have Alan Oro, an entrepreneur, teacher, mentor, and our lovely partner from Belgium. Also, we are having here Dasha Tsapenko, a designer, a teacher, an investigator, a researcher. Dasha, you are here with us? Yes. And also, I want to present to you Elena Dobrorodneva, a vice president of K-Fund and lead partner of this project in Ukraine. Elena, shake hand. Yes, and last but not least, me, Igor Kamendo, director of NGO Go Local. So, dear participants, dear hackers, now I'm giving the word to Ian, and I want to wish you good luck, good pitch, and see you soon on the next stage of European Design Upgrade project.
A little round of applause there for Igor. Thanks to Kari and thanks to Igor for those words. And from our part, as the facilitators of this online hackathon, thank you to the teams for the hard effort that you put in. Now the results will be streamed to the world live. I know that there's been a lot of mentoring happening as well. So thank you again to all the mentors who help the teams out and help them progress and find direction during the hackathon. We will also see how your help has helped push the teams towards these results. So a little bit about the practicalities of this session. So for each of the teams, what we would like is that every person has a camera on. We want to see the community that is involved in this event. As mentioned, we will be capturing some pictures for future use. Keep your microphone closed, but when a question is addressed to your team, for the participant of that team who is answering the question, please unmute yourself promptly and try to answer the question as concisely as possible. Each pitch is up to 5 minutes long. The question and answer session will be maximum 3 minutes, so the time is limited. We will have a short break midway through, so after we finish pitch 9, we will have a 5-minute recess while the jury tabulate the scores and just for you to stretch your legs and get up for a little moment. And then we will resume again with pitch number 10. After the session, we ask that the participants and mentors stay on the line, and we will kind of have a little discussion with you, find your feelings and thoughts and get a little bit of networking going while the jury go off and make their difficult decisions. So without further ado, we will commence the pitching, and we will start with team number 1. Team number 1, Art Mutation. So for the jury, this is team 1.
Hello, everyone. I'm Denis. I'm representing the team number 1. It will be the video, right? Correct?
Yes, that's correct, Dennis. So please remain muted until the video is completed, and then the jury will ask questions.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. We are team number 1, and the name of our project is Art Mutation. From thought through human to the environment, mutation in art becomes more and more popular over the years. Google Trends provide us with a growing trend of demand for mutation.
There is no sound.
There is no sound.
Actually, it is sound in the video. I supposed before the sharing the presentation, you should also share the computer voice.
Yep, share computer sound. Yes, yep. So that's now activated. So let's start this one again.
Yeah, just before the sharing, Ed.
There we go.
Hello, everyone. We are team number 1, and the name of our project is Art Mutation. From thought through human to the environment. Mutation in art becomes more and more popular over the years. Google Trends provide us with from 35 to 44 years old, who are interested in art. So, what is a mutation? This image shows what most commonly is associated with a mutation. In the following image, our own interpretation of the existing world is presented. So, who are we? The idea arose from two twin sisters Alina and Karina. Being identical twins, the notion and potential of mutation were always their interest. During European Design Upgrade, the topic attracted more multidisciplinary designers and artists. So why mutation? We see it as a nice framework to challenge social constructs and norms regarding human beauty and fashion, which facilitates it. We are confident that through mutation, we can raise the topic of interconnectivity and challenge the anthropocentric model of thinking that in the future might prevent many problems. So what are we doing? We want to communicate our thoughts through a performative installation. That installation will consist of a capsule collection from 4 garments and a special environment where these garments will be activated by a performer. How are we doing that? We work with 3 main actors, the so-called art cell, the human, and the environment. The art cell is a human's thought. The internal thought influences the physical human body and through it influences the environment. When the art cell or the thought begins to mutate, it changes the person. The changed person then changes the environment. A person that mutated internally becomes different, and gradually this change becomes visible from the outside. The human becomes a mutating art cell for the environment. As a result, the environment itself is changing. Here's the logic. The changed person equals the changed environment. The idea is simple. To change the world, change yourself first. Our garments offer a visual appearance of an already mutated or changed person. The garments not only change their form and shape but also sense and meaning. You can see the first sketches of a prototype that symbolizes a change in human appearance. Our idea was transforming throughout the process, both conceptually and outcome-wise. For whom are we doing this? We target galleries, museums, and art institutions as our main clients and places on the web, where we can communicate our messages to people of different kinds of ages and interests. We also would like to make a series of workshops and talks in schools about the mutation, asking kids to create their own new norms instead of following the existing ones. We also plan to collaborate with conceptual garment stores worldwide to introduce new types of the norm, buy fashion pieces that challenge them. Where are we doing that? In our sewing workshop in Dnipro City, where we have all the necessary equipment. What do we need? First of all, space and time to try experiments and develop the idea further. Performers and dancers that would activate our garments. Large format printing. And a lightweight metal construction expert. Last but not least, these are the references we use as a source of inspiration, ideas, and knowledge. Thank you for your attention. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you to team number 1, Art Mutation, for that pitch. Do the jury now have questions that you'd like to pose to team number 1?
I have a question.
Yep.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes. Well, the question is about presentation, because at some point the sound was doubled. Was it a part of the presentation to show the mutation, or was it just mutation by chance?
No, actually, sounds should not be doubled. It was just, I suppose, a technical error during the sharing phrase. So yeah.
But it was quite conceptual.
Yeah, I thought so too, exactly. I think it was also as if it was on purpose made and it fitted.
It was also in the right time.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I have a question about Yeah, okay, question about that. How much have you already contacted the different players and actors and places, what you mentioned there? It was a wonderful presentation, but how long are you in the planning of those activities?
Let me add that, so that have you already some concrete examples of some art exhibition organizers are using this kind of activity?
Yes, so we're doing those installation for a couple of years so far. And yeah, before the creation of this idea, we did marketing research about the actual demand from the internet based on the Google Trend search. And those brand of the clothes we are doing, it is from 2017.
Thanks.
Any more questions from another jury member? No, no further questions. Maybe we'll ask a mentor if they have a question for this team.
Yeah, I have a question. What would be the next step in the process, or what would be the first step after that? Would it be directly coming to the closest prototypes, or would it be yeah?
Actually, yeah, the next step, it will be the planning based on the result of this hackathon. In case of success, we are planning to launch the project as well as distribution of this project through the offline events as well as online distribution of those 3D models, which will be physically created in the same way through the web, in order anyone across the world can have access to those ideas and those works.
Okay, and another question: what was the most significant change idea-wise during the hackathon, like the transformation? What was the most striking one?
Yeah, actually, it was a couple of huge changes during the hackathon. It was like the idea was mutating, as everything is mutating in this world, and like the final idea, I suppose it is really brilliant, because the mutation, thoughts mutation through the humans to the environment, it is an ongoing process, and vice versa. So from the like from the backwards, it works also. So from my side, it is a really amazing idea, and it is really cool to participate into the creation on something new and promoting those amazing ideas to you and to the worldwide.
Yeah, well, I guess you just guys need more time to actually really produce first examples, so it's more clear to all of us.
Sure.
What do you mean? Yeah.
We actually need more time, more resources, and actually, yeah, that's all we need: more time and more resources in order to make it real.
Thank you.
Thank you for your questions.
Thank you, Dennis, from team number 1, and thank you, team number 1, for that presentation. Art Mutation, excellent work and excellent effort during the hackathon. Up next, then, we have team number 2. Team number 2 is a team called Changeable. So we will share their pitch now.
Hello, everyone. This is team number 2 presenting Changeable project. What do some amputees get after their surgery? An ugly prosthesis. On the market, there are aesthetic artificial limbs and decorative covers, but some amputees simply cannot afford to buy them. It affects mental well-being of people who just lost a leg, need to feel support, learn to use prosthetics, or whose adaptation to a society already lasts for several years. Our goal is to make amputees feel comfortable in their body and in society again by providing aesthetic, affordable prosthetic covers and a platform for communication as an alternative to existing rehabilitation and adaptation process. Unlike official rehabilitation services like Amputee Coalition or Otobok, Changeable platform does not provide any physical or psychological support. We are designers. We provide a feeling that amputation is okay and it doesn't affect amputees' possibilities. Changeable platform is a tool for gathering and empowering community of active, creative, solution-oriented amputees, designers, corporations, and medical communities. What does Changeable platform offer? Amputees may choose stylish prosthetic leg covers or other wearables created by famous designers and brands like Tattoo Sweaters or Mashareva. They can place own personalized prosthetic cover or prosthetic tattoo sticker design to share it with other platform users. In future, we want to add a social network function to the platform. Amputees and other users can create personal profiles for communication, making friends, collaboration with designers and prosthetists, developing projects, organizing or participating in events such as sport and dance contests for amputees, healthcare innovation hackathons, etc. Together, they can have fun and create value for prosthetic innovation-oriented community. Personal profiles on platform require amputees to list their skills along with jobs they prefer to do. Thus, innovative startups and companies could more easily hire graphic and fashion designers, medical engineers, or researchers from amputee community. Here we see a big potential to raise awareness, corporate social responsibility, and make amputees realize that the fact they lost their limbs doesn't mean they have lost their skills and courage. Due to Changeable charity giveaways, amputees could receive their preferable covers or other products from the platform as a gift from corporate partners. Innovation consists in reinventing their rehabilitation and adaptation period by creating a natural way back to normal life, full of communication and support. Our hackathon progress. Together with mentors, we defined our main goals and divided a complex idea into smaller steps. We discovered the theory of change and referred to the lean startup principles to arrange our way of thinking within this project planning. We defined main functions of the Changeable platform and reached out to amputees to receive feedback about it. We analyzed existing prosthetic textile manufacturers via Google Trends.
Also, we created a roadmap. We need to get in touch with fashion brands to create cover design collections. Encourage amputees to design and share own textile cover prints. We already have the first design reference from an amputee. Provide amputees with the latest updates about initiatives, projects, and solutions in prosthetic community. Research and generate trend reports about prosthetic design for healthcare innovation startup and companies. Collaborate with existing organizations like Amputee Coalition to combine their resources and expertise with our fresh vision and enthusiasm. Project maturity. While our platform is in seed stage, we prefer further idea validation through opinion surveys. Meanwhile, we are working on the initial textile cover construction and a 3D printed cover to complete first tests within the nearest weeks. Business model. We plan to manufacture and sell our prosthetic accessories B2C via platform, B2B via prosthetists, clinics, and cover manufacturers. Collaboration with fashion designers will additionally promote our products and services. Trend reports for companies and matching amputees with employers will be additional monetization as the platform evolves. Many thanks to Changeable team for contribution to this intense work on idea development, and big thanks to our mentors for their precious insights and guidance.
Fantastic pitch. Thank you, team number 2, Changeable, for that presentation. So yeah, maybe we'll give applause. Now we'll open the floor to questions from the jury. Any questions for team number 2?
Yeah, it's Kari. ask the normal question. What's the next step tomorrow? What you are going to do? So to go and implement the idea.
Hello, everyone. Again, hello, Kari. The next step will be continue opinion survey, because yesterday we, due to conversation with Hank Kuhn, he said that even on this stage, even if 2 days ago we came up with the idea of platform and decided and started to make it more clear, we already have to ask amputees what do they think, if there is a meaning, what would be practical for them and what wouldn't be. So yesterday we sent a request to several amputees, and so far we have only one feedback, so it's just the beginning, and we will continue to reach into some groups. There are some special forums for amputees, and probably we should try to connect as soon as possible with some organizations that have access to a large community of amputees, and actually they know even all the amputees better. They know their needs. That's about a communication and platform. The other part is our manufacturing part, so we will also continue our prototyping, as we mentioned in a pitch.
Thank you. That's important to be with the user communities, the users, because actually they experience it and they decide that if that's needed. Thanks a lot.
Okay,
Great presentation.
Let me just add another question. Do you have an understanding of what is the size of the potential market? So how many people there are in Europe or in the world who could use these products? And is there any already existing similar competitors on the market?
I guess now we are talking mostly about a platform for communication, right? I would say in general about, because the most easy way to find statistic is about amputations in USA. It's the most accessible statistics, and there are about 185,000 of amputees each year upcoming. So I guess there is a much bigger number worldwide, and we would have to discover, because now we can't actually calculate how many of them would be interested in communication, because I'm sure there is segmentation of these people, and maybe older people are not interested in such platform right now. So we will have to, again, as I mentioned before, we will have to calculate, contact to organizations which have access to this community. And about our textile products, also we are trying now to see, we found several little companies that also manufacture textile accessories, because as the most accessible way to decorate prosthetics. And so far numbers are not large. So we are trying to figure out what kind of products and on what stage of amputation people could need to feel better with their aesthetics, because we found now several potential ideas which could be interested, and several products which are necessary for amputees because they are a real necessary part to attach, for example, prosthetics to the body, and they are for sure needed.
Sorry, I'm afraid we're out of time now, unfortunately, for the questions for team number 2, but thank you, Olja, for that.
Thank you.
And thank you to team number 2 for a wonderful presentation, and to the jury for questions. So up next then, we have team number 4's presentation. So I will just share my screen to get team number 4's pitch going.
Hello, my name is Pasha. I'm a designer, and I'd like to tell you some words about my project called Hyperdesign 2020. It's really complicated and complex project, so we cannot touch abstract topics such as philosophy of postmodernism, because the roots of my project are there. And it's connected to names of Jean Baudrillard and such terms as simulacra, simulation of nothing, copy without original, hyperreality kind of simulator, which simulates reality, and hypertext is a specific way of organization of text which simulates real books, which consists of different texts and link between them and without any depth, idea, and message. And the most important statement in this part is if hypertext exists, hyperdesign exists too. So that's how we described, we discovered hyperdesign, and that's how this project was born. And first we need to define it, and the short definition is design of design. It's about design environment and design objects and link between them. And it has its own characteristics, which are actual to every postmodern term and postmodern in general. I'll not stop there because we have too much to say to us and very strong time limits. And we can watch design.
Okay, I believe that the speed has been increased in this video a little bit, and there was a bit of an echo with this one. So we'll restart this video just to give the team, the jury, the opportunity to hear it a little bit more clearly. So hopefully the echo is diminished now.
Hello, my name is Pasha. I'm a designer, and I'd like to tell you some words about my project called Hyperdesign 2020. It's really complicated and complex project, so we cannot touch abstract topics such as philosophy of postmodernism, because the roots of my project are there. And it's connected to names of Jean Baudrillard and such terms as simulacra, simulation of nothing, copy without original, hyperreality kind of simulator, which simulates reality, and hypertext is a specific way of organization of text which simulates real books, which consists of different texts and link between them and without any depth, idea, and message. And the most important statement in this part is if hypertext exists, hyperdesign exists too. So that's how we described, we discovered hyperdesign, and that's how this project was born. And first we need to define it, and the short definition is design of design. It's about design environment and design objects and link between them. And it has its own characteristics, which are actual to every postmodern term and postmodern in general. I'll not stop there because we have too much to say to us and very strong time limits. And we can watch design and hyperdesign illustrations which shortly describe you what does it mean. And I'd like to pay attention to what we want to do in our projects. The first step was my poster, which based on the Instagram page which I created called Hyperdesign 2020. It's the name of this page, and I decided to redraw it on the paper using craft technique, using ink, feathers, and pencils. And the result was very cool and interesting because it's this real border between reality and hyperreality, because hyperdesign, hypertext, and hyperreality is connected to one universe. Next step, before Hackathon, we decided in our team to read some literature and connect with serious Ukrainian philosophers, and we researched big amount of interesting and difficult topics about that, and to open this issue. And before Hackathon, we go to Hackathon with the idea of creating public space. We decided to give a third dimension to our to the poster, and it's an interesting idea for us. But it's not only space; it's our homepage. That's why we decided to add home interior objects to this exposition to make it more emulative to our houses and make it more aesthetical and interesting. This home without walls and ceiling, and everyone around can watch you, and even in online. So we decided to add online aspects to this exposition, where every visitor of website or online exposition of DDV can tap on the cell and give a mark, give a like to this room or to people inside this room, because people can be spread and be anywhere in this exposition and do whatever they want, and they don't know that someone is watching them, but they can see likes and hearts and thumbs up that will be given to them, and maybe it will be stimulating them to do something interesting. And we create situations where installation is a stage, visitors are performers, and real place is hyperreality. This is the main paradox of our project, that we create real space, but it becomes hyperreal because people inside them, they are under watch, and and that's all, they become performers. But it's not enough for us. We want to make a special offer and sell advertising publications. And we want to suggest our online visitors to publish their logotypes on our ceiling for money, and they should choose only term, how much time do they want to keep publication, and the size of the publication, and picture, it can be logo or drawing or signification or something, anything they want, but it should be monocolor and square sized. And a little bit more great renders of our space, and that's how we watch it right now. It's our third beta draft. And why we do it? For what? We are manifesting hyper design, and we draw visible borders between reality and hyper reality. It's very important for everyone who care about reality and design and care about procedures and processes in the world around us. We help people explore their emergent attitude towards it. We wish to communicate that this tool should be used responsibly by design community. Design community is our main audience, its core audience, and according to our business model, our general audience is those who are familiar with social media, and core audience is design and art community, because we have to share this idea, to share this concept of hyper design, and give instrument object of research for new research, because we give wide field of research and discoveries, and this really interesting and innovative concept. And we have future plans. They consist of participation in art design exhibition with our installation. We want to create web resources about hyper design, which will be describing and educating our audience, and continue exploring and sharing concept, and maybe find some new objects and new ways to show our idea. This is our team, and we are very glad for having us here. Thank you very much. Hyper Design 2020.
Thank you, Team Hyper Design, team number 4, for that hyper pitch. So the floor is now open to the jury for some questions.
Okay, I can start with. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I start with a small feedback. It's amazing how much work you did and how much your idea evolved. And I think it's great. But I actually don't really know why did you use this hyper voice, because you guys, you're really talking about serious stuff. You have great reference, and it has a lot of references and meaning and value. But at least it's my subjective opinion, when using this this voice, it makes it less serious somehow, and you perceive it as a joke. So it actually really underestimates this big, in my opinion, idea about it. So if you present it in future, I would really pick a serious voice, slow voice, that it's really clear, because this is somehow hard information to perceive. So it really needs some time to come into our minds. So yeah, I'm a bit sad that this whole great information was somehow squeezed in that. But besides of that, knowing that project, I think, wow, super nice and super cool.
Thanks, Dasha.
Any other questions from another jury member?
So your main target audience is the design communities, but did you thought also, because it's also very well connected, but the world of architecture, have you taken contact with them? Because I think I've seen many installations and expositions where I think they might be very interested about your concept and your idea. Have you thought about that? Have you contacted them or not?
No, we did not contact, but we included architects to art and design community. So we call it people who create visual arts and visual forms, aesthetically or functionally. It's our audience.
Yes, various art spaces and art communities are our partners. That we put it in our business model.
Okay, any further questions from, maybe time for one last question? No? Okay, perfect.
May I ask one question, last question to Pasha?
Of course, yes.
Pasha, how much do you like your project, and will you continue to do it even without, Dutch Design Week and our support?
Yes. I think that this project have a future not only in Hyper Design Week, I wanted to say Dutch Design Week, and but now Dutch Design Week is one of the script scenarios of future, but this concept is powerful and can be scaled in the different cases, and so this project in my plans, in my future plans, no matter what will happen here. So, yep.
Okay, I have one last question, a short one. Besides that installation and that physical manifestation of hyper design, are you planning to do something else, like to create this network or to communicate what actually hyper design means?
I want to start from my educational platform, which will not educate and educate and give an information about topic. Instead of manifestation, instead of description of this project called Hyper Design 2020, we want to create site about hyper design in general, and to post their actual researches, actual interesting thing that we found about this topic, and create community on this topic. Maybe we can find some people who can be interested in researching this topic in abstract way, in philosophical way, or in art way. So yeah, one of the best cases creating community based on the idea of hyper design, which will be shared to other communities.
Okay,
thank you.
Thank
Can
you.
I have a question? Yeah, one last, please.
Yep. We're out of time now for this team, and we have to move on to the next team to keep within the time frame, unfortunately. If you have a question, maybe pose it to the team in Slack or in the chat of Zoom, and that they can carry on with the answering. So thank you to team number 4, Hyper Design. Thank you, Pasha, for answering those questions. We'll move on then to team number 5, Team Nano Retention.
Hello, I'm Kate from Team 5, Nano Retention. Why does our world feel like this? There's less and less fresh water in the world, but climate change also brings unstable weather. Intense rains after periods of dry weather, droughts. These problems will touch everyone, but our cities just aren't built for this. We clearly should learn from nature. Nature's great at collecting water. Well, we've made some progress too, but it's not ideal. These systems are way too complicated and typically use a lot of fresh water. And that water, it comes from nearby lake or a river. And that's not sustainable, and we can do better. Our team has come up with a solution on how to deal with flooding and droughts. We need to create places for rainwater to stay, and then to slowly return it back into the ecosystem. Life follows the water. Like, what if every wall was made of buckets? Aren't we missing something? Of course, humans didn't evolve in concrete jungles, but in real ones. We are drawn to organic shapes, textures and movements, smells and sounds. That is the nature. And we need to bring it back via the ability of a pine cone to change its shape when wet. And I found a material that can imitate this. It's bacterial nanocellulose, and it's made from tea fungus, the kombucha drink. This material can hold up to 20 times its weight in water. It also changes its shape, just like a pine cone. And we think that it can be used to manage rainwater in cities. This is our vision. Moving organic walls instead of metal and concrete. During this hackathon, we've developed a technology for collecting rainwater on any surface. This system is modular and it is easily adaptable. It has many layers and many functions. On the outside layer, we place local moss. It's almost impossible to kill, and it's suited for colder climates. But it's also fantastic for cleaning the air and for acoustic isolation. In other words, it creates the new intimacy by filtering the noise and pollution of the modern city, bringing us closer to nature. To illustrate that, we need to start small. We want to make a small-scale product for Dutch Design Week, something on the intersection of art and utility, something that is organically attractive, sustainable, and accessible, something that people would like to have. It's a self-watering flower pot that closes its petals when the water is low. Nano-retention is just a technology, a tool that we learn from nature itself, and we think there's a lot of use for it. But the most perspective for us is developing a sustainable and accessible green wall. It's the shortest way to achieving my personal goal of turning our cities into forests. So, what's the plan? First, we need to start small, make an art object, focus on individual user experience, develop a prototype and test it. This fits well into the Dutch Design Week timeline. After that comes the feedback and wide collaboration. Then we scale up. After the second prototype, we can rent out pieces of our living wall to businesses and public spaces. Another scale up, optimizing the production, and then we can collaborate with architect and design studios, eventually providing a working product and service. This is our plan for the next few years, but we also like to dream. We dream of bringing nature into our cities, natural processes, and natural energy. And this material that we use has so much potential. And we are the dreamers. Thank you.
Thank you, team number 5, Nano Retention, for that awesome pitch. Looks amazing. Now the floor is open for the jury to ask questions to team number 5.
Let me just start that. What difference does it make the outdoor climate? So what about winter time with snow and ice compared to 40 degrees Southern Europe temperatures?
Our material, nanocellulose that we use, it is really resilient. It can withhold freezing temperatures and it doesn't change its structure. And the most that we use, first of all, we want to use it, source it locally, so it's suited for the local climate, but also it also can freeze and it doesn't affect it. So we can use this system as well as in northern climates and in southern.
Did you investigate competition and competition like similar to your idea, that it exists probably or maybe somewhere else? And are they already one step further, or are they still in this also like first phase? Alternatives, okay, probably many people are looking for alternatives, but really comparable to what you have. Did you find any competition?
Yes, we were looking first of all at existing green facades, and they are they cost more and they are more complicated. But we were also looking at other startups, and all of them are at the starting stage. Some of them are more than 5 years old, and we still don't see any product for them. But none of them use this material that we use, and it's very new. A lot of research is done, but it's not yet commercialized. So we don't have any like exact analogs, and not a lot of competition.
I have a question as well. I'm curious if you've already done some tests with kombucha.
Yes,
and
yes, I have a lot of them, a lot of different I have a lot of them in my house right now, with different solutions, and they grow a lot, and I do different tests with structure, but these experiments require a lot of time, and well, it's on the way.
But my question also is that as far as I know, kombucha is not waterproof, right? And it has lots of glucose and sugar. So all people who work with kombucha, the main issue is actually how to make it waterproof or at least water resistant. What is your thoughts on that?
The sugars are dealt with special chemical solutions that clear out not necessary components, and then you can add to this material different oils and hydrophobic solutions. But in our system, we want to use a special hydro-isolating cover as a spray, and that will give us that isolation. So it will have some entrance points for water, but it will also prevent excess evaporation.
Okay, and another question is that there is actually a big study of how vertical facades are bad for us, right? Because many architects use it, and then it works only like for half a year, but then for the plants, it's actually really super bad, and it doesn't really work because it requires a lot of water, a lot of care, but in the end, all the plants die. So I would also like really investigate in that research and include it into your proposal, and also show why your solution is different from that. Because I know many people, designers and architects, who whenever they hear about this vertical facades, if you really go deep into the system of how it works, then there are much more downsides than positive sides, which go just beyond of the beautiful green vertical wall. So I would really go also in that research and react on that as well.
Thank you.
Good feedback, Dasha. Yeah.
Question of Dasha. So I want to know a little bit about your business model, how much you have thought. So are you selling a product, which then what Dasha said, it can wear out, or is it more a license so that the whole thing, if you reach globally, you license it, or as a service, so that you take care of that if it doesn't work and you go back there? Have you any ideas of that, which type of thing you would like to do?
So very briefly, Katarina, because we're out of time for your questions, but very briefly answer this one.
Yeah, at the moment I'm thinking more about the service, but it's yet too early to tell because it's just a concept now. But I'm thinking a service more than. Okay,
perfect. Thank you to Dasha and Kari for the questions and the feedback. To team number 5, Nano Retention. Thank you to Katarina for responding to those questions. Up next, then we have team number 6. It's the team known as Pink Glasses. So
Hello everybody, we are Pink Glasses project, and now we will introduce our idea. We live in a fast-changing world and don't have any time and ability to pay attention to the global problems. Also, we are deep inside our own troubles.
As a result, people isolate themselves from environmental, social, and planet problems. And wear pink glasses. This is the world in pink glasses.
But this is the world behind pink glasses. That's why a problem about planet existence must be more visible and eye-catching. The first step is acknowledge and underline problem. As a result, we attract resources to solve this problem.
We created new media channel for communication and actualization of global problems by social poster.
We invite you in metaphorical room with pink light and ultraviolet light of reality. In pink we see carefree picture, but in ultraviolet we highlighten hidden problem like forest fire.
This is a creative tool for social impact and expression. Clothing is just the entry into the market. The object An idea can be everything that surrounds a person, everything that forms their environment. Value for the customers is opportunity to participate in the manifestation of social problems. Also, we focused on 8 sustainable development goals of UN. Potentially, in near future, our projects can be covered in 17 goals.
With our own brand and added value, we enter the global market and collaborate with international social funds, for example, WWF, Greenpeace, United Nations, UNICEF.
But we are going to start with the local market. Based on this, we see well-known Ukrainian eco-friendly brands and communities as our partners to preserve the Carpathians and clean water of Dnipro River. We can divide our competitors into the 3 groups. First, it's artists who create art performances. Second, it's manufacturers who produce t-shirts with fluorescent prints. And last, it's fashion brands. But we combined 2 social contexts in new media, visible.
Business model Pink Room Wow Performance is just presentation stage. The implementation of prototypes cost from $5,000 to $15,000, depending on the scale. Development is in collaboration with business and local or international social funds, for example, WWF, Greenpeace, UN and UNICEF. Product resources are external investments and monetization from retail and with the world fashion business, Inditex and H&M. Our product clothing is 25-13 more expensive than the local market. Up to 10% of the cost we transfer to funds.
In 2023, we are going to be the brand Pink Glasses like trendsetter of social media channel. It's a useful tool for changing the people mindset and behavior.
Our challenge. First, draw public attention to specific social issues. Second, direct resources to reduce and solve social problems. Third, a just platform for collaboration with artists and illustrators all around the world.
We are insiders. We are philosophers. We are designers. We are about important. We are about actual. We are about affordable. We need positive PR, international lawyer, and finance resources. I came to the EDU with a small manifesto and the primary idea, sock with hidden image and shoes, but came out with ready-made performance and solution to an attractive representation of acute social problems.
Thank you to team number 6 for that pitch. A little bit shy there from hiding their own faces. Hopefully we can see them now.
Thank you.
Floor is open to the jury for questions for Team Pink Glasses.
This is Kari. Wonderful presentation. I have one simple question. What's the first prototype what you are thinking to do in order to implement these things?
Thank you. Hi, Kari. The first prototype is t-shirts, and we will show them in this pink room. It's like installation. It's first entered to our market, but in future we are going to produce these socks, as you see, t-shirts, maybe another manifestation of this duality, you know. So.
Yeah, thanks.
And one question you have a so beautiful design and so many sample like t-shirt also, but you didn't use it in presentation, and presentation was more about business model and no about wow effect about your product. So concentrate please a little bit more to show a product. It's my opinion.
Ola, thank you. We also think about this presentation, but our European partners set us the conditions that we have to concentrate on the business model. But we can show you our emotional presentation, but it's second part of our business.
Any more
Oleg,
questions?
may I ask you one question? When you will do your prototype, will you need some money for the preparation first MVP?
Thank you. Some mentors also ask me the same, and they are ready to share some money with us and to offer the socks. But
if you need any help, I will support you too.
Thank you. So I think we will share our money at first stage, and we'll produce this first prototypes, and we will contact and knocking on every door and trying to sell this idea, but on local market here, and testing this idea. And the second stage, it will be probably in Europe or in the world.
Any more questions from a jury member? No. Thank you to the jury for the questions, and thank you to Team Pink Glasses for that amazing presentation. Next up, we'll move on to team number 8. Team number 8 is a team called Syria.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are a project called Syria, team number 8. My name is Dasha, and here is Yelena.
Hello.
And our motto is "Make Panelka Great Again." So these are two houses where we lived, Lena and me. And so what is Panelka? Panelka is prefab panel residential building from 20th century. Mainly it's after the war up to 80s. So this picture might be familiar for you. It's London, Beijing, Paris, Kiev, and Prague. So this shows that almost 70% of Ukrainians live in Panelka. So Panelka is a part of our identity. So it's covered up with some cultural and historical layers. So we're trying to dig it out and love it again. So our main goal is to change our attitude to Panelka. So eventually Panelka may change as well. We are dealing with global problems such as reduced inequalities, partnership, responsible consumption, and sustainable cities. Our audience is everyone who has an opinion about Panelka. It could be inhabitant, former inhabitant, people who consider Panelka to be terrible or perfect, creative architects, academy students, city dwellers, and tourists. So how we'd like to communicate? We'd like to create pop-up pavilion, Syria museum shop, and web platform for architects and artists.
So pop-up discussion pavilion, it could be interactive object consisting of two parts, symbolic Panelka. One is completely clear as it was built in 70s or whatever. Another one with random shapes which can be attached or put down, air conditioning and so on. So people can come and put it or turn down. So it suggests thoughts about our identity, the idea of social equality, inequality, and love through care. This is some scenarios that could be used of this Panelka in the city yard of Panelka. Info point for tourists, for example, in Chernobyl, it could be used like info booth with some routes and some information. Also a playground and photo zone. This is a gallery view.
And point for a kind of panel discussion. So this is a yard view, and it could be community focus point, just to discuss something, to make an exhibition of, for example, kids drawing, to exchange some flowers and some stuff.
Yeah, it could travel all over the city, so it's movable.
So another aspect of our work, it's Syria Panelka museum shop. So we are doing and we will continue to do some trendy, high quality products to engage the topic, some posters, tableware, carpets, t-shirts, wallpapers, so on. We were planning to collaborate with fashion brands and architectural and to create architectural pattern out of building all over the world. So this is our Instagram shop. This is for future ideas for collaboration with fashion brands. It's part of our exhibition about Ukrainian identity. These are our posters. Business model.
And also we suggest to create a web platform for architects and artists to start a wide world discussion about Panelka, and an international call for architects who can create renovation project, and also some artist impression. We will show you our impressions.
So Panelka could be like that in 50 years, or maybe like that, or possibly like that. Here's our team. Special thanks for our mentors. These are related hashtags too, because topic is very wide and there are different scenarios of some further development.
Yeah, we would like to thank all the team, all the mentors, and also UltraHack. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, girls.
Team number 8, Syria, for that awesome presentation. And now the floor is open for questions from the jury.
Besides, so I think it's a great idea, and it's certainly interesting for Ukraine, but also outside Ukraine. I've seen some similar buildings in other countries, which should need some other look and feel from the outside. But are these buildings also like, is it good to maintain those buildings from a sustainable point of view, or like from an environmental point of view? Is it, because you will make them look better, what is good for the urbanistic, let's say, approach, but are they also still like good for the future? Do we have any idea about that, about the quality of the building?
Yeah, actually, it's all of them are structurally, maybe not all, but majority of them is structurally stable, so they can be renovated actually by redesigning the inner part, the structure part. Also, maybe make some flats bigger by combining them. Also, you can put some additional floors up to it. So there are a lot of variants worldwide how to deal with them.
So we don't know the proper answer. That's why we wanted to make this open call for ideas from artists and architects. So, and from the point of sustainability, it's like a double-sided question, because from one side we should keep and preserve and not to build more, but to make better what we have already. But from the other side, I understand what you mean. It's not very comfortable for now to live in these buildings. But in Ukraine, it's like bigger problem, because it's up to 70% of people, they are living in these buildings. So it's not very easy to demolish all of them and just to build new, like 2-story building.
May I ask something? Well, you started with love, acceptance, rethinking, and now you're moving more to the business model. Could you explain why?
We still have all that ideas behind our products, and this community booth, community pavilion, traveling, it could be the starting point for
for this care. Actually, people can meet, can discuss this problem together, and then find some ways to.
You can work with the facade because it's detachable like elements. It could be a kind of constructor playground, but we also thought about financial model as a backup of the process, we would say.
Yeah, for supporting the whole project.
But the main idea is care through love.
Yeah, well, that's what I wanted to hear, because love is all we need.
I have also a question. So you make this boost to basically question, to put a question and to like really find out opinions and to manifest that this exists, and okay, what do you do with it? So I'm curious, do you have a personal, what is your position within it? Do you have a personal opinion what should happen with the Panelka, like a subjective one? Does it need to be renovated or fixed, or it should be untouched? Or I mean, it's all possible, but what would you say?
Well, I'm an architect, so I think it could be renovated in comfortable way, maybe in different ways for different cities. Maybe somewhere it could be renovated in more luxurious flats, but somewhere it could be just repainting and making clear facades, and and make some maybe greenery around and the pavement, and it will all look better and more comfortable.
Yeah. Also, there is a problem with context where this Panelka is. So if we let's say put more greenery and make some public spaces in between this Panelka, they definitely would be better.
And this pavilion could be like urban intervention for these spaces between these Panelkas also.
We would dream of living in private houses, but in Ukraine, so it's not so easy to demolish all of these buildings for now.
Yeah, so from economical point of view, it's more sustainable to renovate them.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you to the jury for those questions, and thank you to team number 8, Syria, for the awesome pitch and taking the questions on board. You look like you've been sitting there from the pitch. You haven't moved at all. In background and everything. Thank you once more, and we'll move forward then to the next team. So up next, we have team number 9, a team called Game of Projects. So I will be.
So, hello everybody, we're team number 9, Makers Guide the Game. And basically our audience have some problems. Lots of ideas, but no knowledge of how to make these things done. Creativity and systemic thinking are rarely consciously involved by them in their everyday life. Also, adaptation is really hard in the modern society, and so is correct for our audience. Also, no unified resource for all methods for the specific methodologies that are present on the market. Also, miscommunication and outdated mindset are common. We're unprepared for what's coming. We're all. And nevertheless, we want to make new things and make them done. Our game system, our solution is a small hackathon on your board that teaches creativity, project development, and all this in a fun way. So our team currently is Igor Komendo, a mentor and business consultant, me, Volodymyr Konovalov-Lysing, designer, trainer, and methodologist, and also Feng Li as Unity developer. But our game features changing of roles for each game session. So basically, you can be someone that you don't understand usually and try to see the world from his or her perspective. And that's the board of a game. The game consists of 4 phases and self-reflection. We basically choose randomly our place our audience and problem or maybe problems that we will solve with our game project. We can Google it or we can just make it from the deck. And then we have methods, the cards of methods that are played by each role of each player on each proper phase. So that's the gameplay process. The team that help each other the most get the most points. Also, the timing is the score, one of the score parameters. And basically, we're going through each phase from first to the third, and each new iteration consumes our resources, so we have to mind that. So who's our audience? Our audience are trainers, team leaders, teachers, parents, and basically students, but mostly students won't be the first audience of our product. So these are trainers and teachers who can provide the knowledge, provide the methods for their students. Our B2B model consists of School of Businesses and creative industries, and also out of the school education. Value for the consumer is a fun way to learn methods of making personal or company projects with original approach to overall process. And also you can achieve change or test profession with such a game, or to learn work together against all odds of the world. So the value for society is to be developed, but basically, and one of the goals of the game is partnership for the goals. The players in the game do not compete among each other, but compete with the outer world for the better results, communication, and project to be done. Monetization based on the selling of the board game, which consists of full package box, and the application, which will be monthly paid, that consists of digital game and overall ecosystem, which will include AR augmentation of the board game. So the thoughts on the businesses that we have to make more attention to the digital side of the project, and basically to develop a digital version of the game in parallel with the board game, while polishing the game mechanics and overall fun that we can have in the process. And despite our business model still needs polishing, we dug that our approach to the audience and overall strategizing are correct. And currently the business has a problem of too many different methodologies, so maybe sometime in the future this approach and this methodology can unify many others. So the ultra hack challenges we've had about core rules, balance, and features of a game, we solved nearly 40% because there were only 3 of us which actively participated in the project, and the tons of work basically was on me alone. Our progress is the total overhaul of the core mechanics and good simplification of the game process, then correction of the business model and assets, and the first 3 are thanks to Feng. Now we have dozens of assets ready and currently are in the making. And also our first AR is working, but still needs to be debugged to show cards and the stages correctly. The roadmap stands still, but I suggest there will be corrections for us on the nearest 2 months in order to launch the development of the full-scale digital version of the game. Special thanks to all who believe and support this project, and a special thanks to the Feng Li for all the efforts she made into this hackathon and collaborate. It was really a pleasure, and I hope we will develop this project together furthermore. And also thank you for all the mentors for the support. Thank you.
Great pitch, team number 9. Now over to the jury. Questions?
Well, I have a question. In your presentation, I missed a bit. What should I expect as a player? Like a bit a scenario or a choreography of the route of a player, for example. Can you tell me in 3 sentences I start to play, who am I, with whom do I interact, what should I expect? Tell me a bit of my journey.
Yes, I don't know where is Vladimir.
Maybe, okay, maybe Igor, you can
because
tell me.
he prepared this presentation, but I can give you a hint because I was a member of this team.
Okay.
Basically, the idea that you just role play a hackathon, so on your table. So you have 3 stages of development of an idea or a problem, or so you can choose whatever problem you would like.
But who am I as a player? Do we
and
have
then you choose a role. So you pick up a role card. You can be either designer, entrepreneur, blogger. So we have dozens of roles so that you can play. So our idea is each of the players pick up any role, but except that he is playing in his own life. So if you're entrepreneur, you pick up a role of designers, and connected to these roles, you also pick up methods that are used by this or that role. So if you are a designer, we will pick up, I don't know, like a photojournal or design thinking, you know. Or entrepreneur, you will pick up like a Scrum, Agile, or a waterfall project management. Yes. And by these 3 stages, we show that every idea or a problem comes through 3 stages of development. First is green, like you seen it, green circle. It's empathy, that you just start empathizing, thinking about the problem. The second is deep learning. So you're analyzing stakeholders and so on and so forth. So it's purple, a circle, and the third circle is red. It's creation, when you prototyping, when you implement, and so on and so forth. So basically, this is a game for teams, for families, or whatever, and they can try to solve any problem that they have by using this canvas.
Okay, yeah, I would really love to see maybe in future presentations and further communications this journey, you know, like a teaser for the player, what to expect and whom he meets or she on this journey, what to expect, what obstacles will come up, so that will also give another perspective.
So the game mechanic is not very hard, but it's not very simple as any board game, you know. But it is very transparent, and it has to be explained in more detail.
Okay.
But the main idea is a hackathon on your table. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question about the development timeline. Before you said that it would be launched already in the beginning of next year, and there are different versions available in Dutch Design Week. Is that still the timeline, and is that realistic that it can be done within the autumn?
Yeah, but definitely prototype, working prototype will be ready in a month, but a game foresees also a digital part. So if we're talking solely about board game, it will be already developed. But we also want to enhance a board game with a digital tool that will give a chance for participants to play online, and also will add AR enhancements in terms of fun and visibility of the projects of the game. For example, different visualization of methods, of roles, and so on and so forth.
Thanks.
Okay, maybe time for one quick question, if there's any more remaining. No. Okay, perfect. Thank you to team number 9 for that presentation, and thank you to Jerry for the questions. That's it for the Ukrainian teams. When we return again after a little recess, we will then start with the startup teams and their challenges around the design, etc. So we'll find out from their pitches what they've been developing and working on over the weekend. So we will now have a 10-minute recess. So please feel free to go grab a cup of coffee, breathe a little bit for the Ukrainian teams. Now you can just relax. For the Finnish teams and the startups, now you have to sweat a little bit longer. And for the jury, if you could continue tabulating your scores in the score sheets. And if you have any issues, just reach out. But let's return in 10 minutes at 12:40 Eastern European time. So we'll begin again in 10 minutes. Thank you everybody for this first part. See you in part 2. Hello, welcome back everybody to part 2 of the pitch streaming for the European Design Upgrade Hackathon. What we saw before the pause was the Ukrainian team pitches, so amazing effort from the Ukrainian team, especially with the hard work that they put in over the weekend. It's definitely reflected on the pitches, and I think that the jury are going to have a very difficult decision. Coming up, we have the startup teams with the challenges that they presented and that they have been working on during the weekend. We have another 7 teams lined up, some great projects. So we'll give it another little moment until a few of the jury join again. In the meantime, maybe Kari, you could give a few words. What's your feeling so far of the pitches?
They were wonderful pitches, and we see that they have been working the whole summer almost together. Then they have prepared them together there locally, and that was great. And I have had fascinating discussions with many of those teams. So wonderful teams. I hope that they all go some way further. But then if I think what is the situation in Finland, we had a different point of view. We had existing startups which don't have so much this design competence. It's nice to see that what happens after this hack if these design competencies and capabilities which were shown there in the Ukraine teams could also be used here, and the practicalities then what those companies do here already could be then transferred to Ukraine. So it was a wonderful pitches. Thanks to all.
It was fantastic, and we had a lot of mentors as well who were helping the teams out. And I think they were extremely active during the weekend. What about maybe Hank? What was your view of the pitches so far? What did you think of the team's efforts during the weekend?
Yeah, I liked the pitches very much. Some of the pitches were extremely stimulating and inspiring. Others were more business-like. But aside from the pitches, as I made a comment a few seconds ago on the chat, I really liked the projects. And aside from whether a pitch is entertaining or catches your attention, I liked the attention that the teams made to developing projects that can address some real needs of groups in society. So my congratulations to all of the Ukrainian teams so far.
Thank you, Hank, for those words. Yes, so congratulations so far to Ukrainian teams, but now we're in for something a little bit different. We have some startup teams with challenges that they've presented themselves that they've been working on over the weekend. Let's get started with the very first one, which is team number 10, Team
Hello, my name is Tony, and I come from Crazy Town. And we believe that the future of work is about connected communities collaborating together, both online and offline. We operate 4 community-driven locations in Finland with more than 200 member companies. More and more, we are also creating a network of other similarly minded communities and platforms around the world. But we have a problem. If I'm a member at Crazy Town, how can I connect with communities elsewhere more easily? For this, we created a solution, Thematic Tuesday, which is monthly impact event for people with shared interest, a event format that tackles one interesting theme per month. These are examples of the themes, for example, AI and digitalization of industry. The themes can come from our members, from our partner locations, or the surrounding society. And we decided that this format has 3 criteria so that it's also interesting for the participants. It's about people, for people who want to create societal impact. It needs to be also fun for the participants so that they dedicate time for it. But it also needs to serve their interests for new business. So planet, people, profit, 3 criteria. And how the process works, it has 3 phases. First, it starts with knowledge sharing, a hybrid online-offline event where people join from their own location. And if there are any interesting outcomes from this facilitated dialogue, we will also take responsibility of facilitating the projects and initiatives created from there. We go for the second phase, knowledge co-creation. And this is supported by our digital community platform that we launched last spring. The idea is that for each of the initiatives created in the events, we will start forming teams of interested people with relevant skill sets. For example, if the topic is about AI, we can start looking for people with skills or interest in that theme, or even include additional people from outside our own community to join in. And for this platform, on this platform, we can also include any relevant materials, recordings of the discussions, etc., so that all the material is also in one place that can be accessed by everyone in the community. But we will then gradually take the process towards implementation. If there are any new prototype solutions, project ideas created through this process, we will then connect them with our own existing network of resources and people such as Peter Westerpaka, who is our Crazy Town member and also an excellent mentor for many potential participants. But most importantly, all this event format serves the goal of making our partner communities more accessible for our members. For example, a Crazy Town member in Tampere will find it much more easier to connect with Espoo Innovation Garden through Urban Mill. And how we start rolling this? Well, first we approach our existing network of partners and community players, and we start doing it. The idea is that this whole event format pulls together all the existing activities that we already do. There's no extra resources needed to make it happen. Besides, of course, people and communities with interest for good themes. So, if you have a great idea for a theme you would like to focus on together with us, and with more than 200 growth-oriented companies that we have in Crazy Town, welcome on board. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony, for that presentation. Yep. And now the floor will be open to the jury. Do you have any questions towards Tony and Team Crazy Town?
Tony, I have one question, and it's that's wonderful that we could do that on the national scale and European scale. But have you thought already the way how to finance it? Because is it based on the events, membership fees, project? How to do it? Because there's, for the facilitation, there's extra work for on the top that what you do normally.
Yeah, basically we already, within the communities that we operate, we already organize about 100 facilitated events per year. So quite a lot. There's about several events per week. And the thing is, we could actually substitute maybe some of those existing events with this different kind of formats. So it's more about just reallocating resources to this process and try out different ways. So I think that's one way to just finance it. It's already in our business model.
Thank you.
And what makes you unique compared to other similar type of communities or events and activities? What makes you really unique, if you would try to resume it in one word or a phrase?
85% of our 200 member companies collaborate together. I'd say that's a pretty good number. So it's already in the DNA of our members to do things together, co-create things together. But until now, it's been just like more about knowledge sharing. Now we want to take it a bit further with this.
Any more questions from other jury members to Team 10 and Tony? No. Okay.
So just one thing, like a big thanks to Hank and Kari for excellent mentoring questions already on Monday. What really started this on this path was Hank's question if we have thought about having communities of practice, and Kari's question if we should do things more thematically. So that was really something that helped us.
Fantastic. Yeah, mentoring as always, helping the teams progress. Fantastic. Thank you, Tony, for that presentation. Thank you for being with us here today, for answering these questions. That is team number 10 for the jury for you to finalize your scores. Up next then, we have team number 11, a team called Delicode.
Hi there, my name is Julius Tuomsto. I'm the CEO and founder of Delicode. Delicode develops Signals, which is a computer vision-based anonymous people counting and tracking solution for retail. Our typical customers for Signals use it for optimizing staffing to match peak hours, so understanding your peak hours. This helps you have your staff there when they are needed. And this in turn helps you decrease costs and increase your sales and increase your customer retention. They use it for recognizing the effectiveness of their marketing and sales campaigns, understanding seasonal behavioral trends, understanding conversion value of how many people actually pass by the store and then convert into people who actually stepped into the store. And then finally, they cross-reference this data to their receipt data in order to understand how their store operates better. Now, the year 2020 was, of course, going to be the best year ever until this. So what do we know about the novel coronavirus? We understand that the coronavirus spreads via droplets as well as aerosols, meaning that one of the most functional defenses that we actually have against this virus is distance. Now, the ability to serve your customers safely during pandemic times has become the prerequisite to operating your business or public service. And equally importantly, the ability to keep your employees safe has become vital, as the virus has the capability to completely disrupt your business if your workforce is infected and needs hospitalization or quarantine. So how did we as a small company then adapt to this virus ourselves, to the situation? We developed the Signals COVID-19 risk estimator. You install a single Signals device for every entrance and exit to your space. The space can be any size. It can be a complete building, it can be a whole floor, or it could be just a single room. The installation is performed using this nice mobile-friendly user interface. You calibrate the system using this interface, as well as set the threshold values of how many people can actually be within this set space at any given time. Once you have all the entrances and exits covered, the system is immediately ready to be used. So why did we enter this hackathon and what are we doing here? We are here to introduce the Signals risk estimator Kiosk. So we've come to believe that combining the disinfectant dispenser with the occupancy monitor is works as a functional reminder of the importance of both hygiene and distancing. So during this hackathon, we created the first physical prototype of a self-standing kiosk, as well as the first marketing materials for this new product. That was the rendering that you just saw. We also managed to locate the locking mechanism for the tablet, and also ordered already a new self-standing food and dispenser mechanism that we hope to put into use next week for a more advanced looking prototype. However, most interesting, we kind of realized that this tablet as a digital means of communication visualization controlled by ourselves opens up completely new possibilities in terms of further productization that we hope to then explore after the hackathon. Who are we? That's me at the top, slightly younger version. Julius at the top, Janne in the middle, Jesse at the bottom. Together we share a co-working history of over 10 years and over 25 years of practical accumulated experience of applying computer vision into real world problems. We own all the IPR2 signals from the low-end routines running on the device to the data and to the UI that actually displays the data. We are agile, we're masters of our own field. Our business model is hardware-specific SaaS. Our clients pay a monthly or yearly fee to access the data that the devices collect. And we work with resellers who typically have their own margin and provide maintenance and servicing packages on top of the service. As an example, we work with Toshiba Global Commerce Solutions, the world's largest vendor of point-of-sale systems within Europe. The market is still developing. The size of the market is around 300 million. The largest competitors are US-based shopper tracking retailers. What are we looking for? We are looking for contacts to high-profile venues where we would showcase the benefits of our solution, both in permanent installation as well as short-term. We're looking for local partners through which we could work with on a Finnish, European, and worldwide level. And finally, like everybody else, we're looking for funding to expand our operations and market offering. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony, for that great pitch. That was team number 11, Delicode. I will open the floor now to the jury for questions.
I have a question. I saw when you did the prototype and tested it already, but what are your next steps? How do you test it and where and to get the user experience and what the customers like about the product?
Yeah, it's. I mean, it was interesting to look at the Ukrainian presentations first of all because they're kind of very design oriented, and of course, I'm a kind of a practical startup guy, having run a bootstrapped company for 10 years. So putting things quickly together is kind of my force maybe. But then, yeah, the next steps, I think just making a more refined prototype. Being a practical person, then kind of looking at ready solutions so that we can get things out there as fast as possible. But then actually, I have to say I'm a little inspired by this design. So maybe putting a little bit more effort into then having maybe some future product where we could kind of have a nicer looking kiosk and putting a little bit more effort into the design side of things. Maybe in version 2, you know, the first version needs to be something practical and something fast.
I understand that you test something also during the PDP Gala. Now.
Yes, yeah. So I'm kind of hoping that we might be able to get things together in time for that.
Next week.
That's quick. Yeah, that's going to be really fast. But yeah, so I think I mean, one of the interesting things that we can do, of course, with computer vision is that we can actually measure the effectiveness of this installation at the same time that we are calculating the number of people. So we will actually know how many people basically will use the disinfectant, you know, who stop act at the kiosk in comparison to installations where you don't have the kiosk, you know. So we have a kind of a base value, and then we can have comparison values, which I mean is a very practical, fast way of understanding the impact of these things. So.
Thanks, and it was nice to hear that you would like to work more with designers. So that was one of the goals of the
project. Yeah. Actually, I mean, your comment prior was exactly on point. I think it's kind of inspiring to look at the design side of things.
Thanks.
Let me just add another question, because now during the COVID-19, so the one of the key issues is that to keep the distance 1.5 or 2 meters. Can you this equipment those, so that how many of those who are during the day in the space are too narrow or too close to each other?
Yeah, you could technically, we are able to do that, but there's a practical issue, which is cost. The devices you would need to, and then there's of course privacy issues also. You don't necessarily, you're okay with one camera, but if you need to fill the whole space with 100 cameras, then it might become a little bit nerving maybe to have this. But so technically it's possible, but for practical reasons, I've come to believe that it's maybe more practical to kind of look at the you know, to give people the idea that, okay, today it's kind of busy, you know, maybe you need to pay attention to it more than on the next day. So then to give those single, so we have this kind of single light. So you have a green if it's under 50% fill rate, then it's, if it's over 50%, you get a yellow light, and if it's full, you get a red light, and then you are not supposed to step in. So we actually have some installations around Finland, for example, in theme parks already for the summer. So we calculate, and then of course you get the visitor counting information, which might be useful for you if you're doing an event. You know how many people actually came in and spent time at your place. So that's kind of.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Perfect. I think that's it for the time for questions for team number 11. So thank you, Julius, for those. I see you haven't managed to get around to shaving yet. Hopefully after the hackathon.
Ian, we lost your voice. Do you others hear Ian?
Ian, we are not hearing you.
Perhaps he has to reboot his system. Let's take a 3 minutes break, and when Ian comes back, then we continue. So you can visit take more coffee or something.
My apologies, for some reason Zoom just had a bit of a crash. Is everything okay now? Can you hear me live?
Yes, I just said that we take 3 minutes break because we are waiting for you, but if all
I'm
here,
back.
continue like that.
Yeah, so my apologies for that. For some reason, Zoom had a little bit of a debug. Maybe it needs some coffee as well. But then we'll start again with the pitch from team number 12.
Hello, and welcome to this pitch of the UltraHack Hackathon. We are team number 12, and I will be presenting our project. It's called Electric All-Terrain Vehicle. Our tagline is freedom to move in any terrain. My name is Kim Niklas Antin, and I will be presenting on behalf of our team. The problem we are solving is that of moving in rough terrain. Typically, that means that you have to walk. Four-wheel vehicles cannot access rough terrain. Motorcycles would be slightly better and agile, but they struggle in steep hills and loose surfaces like mud, snow, and sand. In addition, nowadays combustion engines are a thing of the past, and sustainable development and pollution-free operation requires electric vehicles. The solution we are presenting today is an electric two-wheel all-terrain vehicle. It combines the benefits of a 4x4 EV and the two-wheel agility of an electric motorcycle. Over here on the right, you can see a preliminary rendering of what our product could look like. Our value proposition is go wherever you want and conquer all obstacles. Our solution is lighter and cheaper than an electric motorcycle. It has the same terrain capabilities as a 4x4 quad bike, though. It's reliable, sustainable, and maintenance-free. We obtain this reliable and maintenance-free operation by using direct drive hub motors. There are very few moving parts in our product. The frame is made of stainless steel, which is corrosion resistant, durable, and damage tolerant. In the case of an accident, it can be repaired, and at the end of life, it can be recycled. We are all about sustainable transportation in rough terrain. We have identified many use cases, but we want to focus on two. The first is farming and forestry. Over in farming and forestry segment, we are arguing that the user gets added efficiency by investing in our product, and therefore business-to-business sales is easy to get started with. Once we get the cash flow, we can continue the product development and we can ramp up volume. When we get the production volume up, we can reduce production costs. That allows us to offer this product also to the consumer market at an attractive price. Those are the two market segments we are focusing on in that order. We are 3 companies in this consortium and 3 people representing them. We have Arttu Antila, who is in charge of production. We have Juha Ruokolainen, who is doing marketing. And then myself, I am responsible for engineering and design work. What we have achieved in this project up until now is we have the concept created, we have the technical specifications listed, we have a cost estimate of the production costs, and we have a preliminary design in 3D CAD. What we need next is funding. This funding will go to producing a proof of concept prototype. The main argument, the main selling point of our product is its capability to handle rough terrain. We cannot prove that capability without a prototype. Therefore, it is key that we get this prototype manufactured as soon as possible, and that requires some funding. Once we get the prototype ready, we can gather user feedback and also try marketing this both to businesses and consumers and see what they think. To get us moving forward in this project, we are looking for sponsors and collaborators. So if you are interested in joining this venture, please get in touch with us after this presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, team number 12, for that pitch, that presentation. Now over to the jury for some questions. Do you have questions for team number 12?
Thanks, Kim. That was clear presentation. I have one question. You are looking for funding. What is the amount of money you need for the prototype, and one is then the timeline when it could be ready and tested?
So the prototype itself will not require huge amounts of money. I mean, the components and materials are a few thousand euros, and then some labor costs. So we are looking at the Business Finland innovaatioseteli, which would provide us 5,000 euros, and that's probably enough to get the proof of concept prototype finished. Ordering parts is from Asia mainly, so that will delay the project. We have parts already in Finland, so we can start producing something similar immediately and have it on the road within a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
And how much will you sell it? Any idea of what will be the consumer price?
Yeah, so the price point will be somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 in the beginning, because the manufacturing costs are quite high. The batteries are expensive. We are hoping to ramp up volume and reduce that price, but in the beginning we are looking at the 3,000 to 4,000 euro range.
And from which market do you start then?
We are looking at the domestic market for the farming and forestry, simply because we know that market very well, and it's easy to get started here for the consumer market, definitely global markets are attractive, and Finland is a small country for that.
Analyze the different existing kind of a bit similar vehicles so that people there in the countryside or forestry are using. So this, what are the special, let's say, priorities, why they should change or why they should buy this instead of thinking something? Is it the price or what?
Well, a quad bike, this Mönkijä is commonly used as a utility vehicle, and our product is different from a quad bike in the sense that it's cheaper and lighter, and also you can access places where you cannot go with a quad bike simply because the four-wheel vehicle is too wide to go in between rocks and trees and so forth. So you get a slightly smaller and agile vehicle than a quad bike.
Good.
Maybe time for one more quick question. No. Okay, in that case, thank you, Kimi, from team number 12 from R&D Physics. Great presentation there. And we'll move on then to the next one. So this is the presentation from team number 13, Vertically. Thank you to team number 13 there. A nice little bit of the hurricanes to keep people entertained there. Now the floor is open to the jury. Do you have any questions for Marco and team number 13?
This is Kari. I understood that during the weekend, through the conversations with the mentors and looking at other things, you really did a decision to change your direction in your business. So could you explain a little bit more?
Yeah, it has been in the air for some time, because you can't hit your head on the wall too many times. You learn a bit, maybe. Try to get a softer wall or something.
And so
we got so many new ideas. So it helped on the decision.
So basically, you're making laundry for or like clothes for the healthcare people.
Yes.
In what sense are they unique, or different? Is it because of special design, or what makes them really different from others?
Okay, there are lots of competition. The design is unique, and the material is one of the best in the world, let's say.
And in this era of our society, where more and more we're looking to develop companies that are sometimes maybe different from the Americans and the Chinese, where everything is driven by profit, we are more looking for companies that are maybe driven by another purpose. You still focus on the fact to try to build your company, sell it, and do something else? Is it not?
So
bizarre? What is the bigger aim and purpose?
The aim for that is because I'm not very young guy anymore. So there has to be something else in the life.
Okay.
But we are focusing, let's say we have strong ethical values, and think of the nature, for example, pollution and all that stuff. For example, cotton is bad to use because it consumes so much water first of all in the growing it up, and then processing it. And we have very short carbon footprints because, for example, our factory in Pakistan, they have their fiber, or they make the fabrics 5 kilometers from their factory. And then if you import them by sea, so it's very let's say ecological, because carbon footprint is very small.
Just add and ask your reaction, because I know from my, let's say, city role, so that in the hospital laundry business in Finland, so there are not really many players at all. So it's very centralized, one or two big, and then partly organized by the health care, Helsinki region, hospital, so on. So do you see that there is really some uniqueness in your process system, so that that could bring some added value? Because now it's mainly public sector providing, and the prices of the laundry are very high. Expenses are high.
Yeah, the market is very tough, because there is just Lindström and the others to change, basically doing all the business in Finland. Get your foot there, it's hard.
Marco, perhaps in your presentations you didn't bring it up that you are having patient clothing thing, but they are sold through laundry. Yeah, okay. So that was, okay. It's not laundry business. So perhaps you should.
For example, in Eira Hospital, we sell directly to the hospital, and they ask laundry to watch them.
So businesses so that the hospital in Finland, hospital garment are owned by the laundries.
Yes, yes.
They are leased to the Espoo hospital, and now they are doing this clothing. They have 100 different, clothes directly, but it's a difficult business to get in. Yeah. So perhaps you didn't be clear in your presentation of that.
Yeah, it can be, yes. Because I got some very good ideas in here. Where to go next?
Any more questions?
Yeah, I have a small question, because I remember on your pre-pitch presentation, you said as this nice phrase that you want to make this nice clothes for people in the hospitals, and in that way they would feel better again. And as far as I understood, one of your was to think. So you didn't touch this topic. You didn't go into actually thinking how your clothes might be different, because you also talked about like microplastics and cotton and these topics which are quite important. But you decided to take a different direction, right?
Yeah, all things is there, but sort of we are business. We have to sell something to live. So that's sort of priority number one. But we still keep those values. I don't like microfiber fact at all, because it hasn't been checked if there are something in there, because that might be a problem like asbestos if you inhale microparticles from the microfiber. So what happens? And I've been talking to the European chemical, I think, and then they said that the only thing that EU is interested is how in the washing water they should be cleaning up. So laundries might have sort of big filtering in the wastewater to get the microparticles away. Mm-hmm. But in the air, nobody cares.
Yeah, but it's a big challenge and task to make them aware of it, right, and to push it through somehow, because these are really relevant points.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Marco, for that presentation. So that was team number 13 virtually, and thank you to the jury for the questions. Up next, then, we have team number 14, a team called Aviran. So let's watch.
Hello, I am representing Aviran. Our problem is that we need to find the lead and we need to find a people in an event. So, and the customer would be anyone who would like to find the hottest contact person. They would like to find people. And the solution is to track down those people by collecting the big data, and we visualize those data on our interactive board. And of course, it's also very nice to find different colors because they represent different kind of people. And the customer would be for all the event organizers. You can see it from here, and you can even interact with the dices, and it will show different contents in here. But currently, now we gamificate it to be a person who is most active person on this map. Oh, those two persons, they are competing each other. As you can see, the score, they are changing. Actually, this is from the real data, and this is from the triangulation of the Wi-Fi signal of each person. People flow not in the building, but in Otaniemi area. This is the people flow for the day. Well, there's not too many people in here due to the pandemic situation, but still you can see some people, and you can draw lines, and you can interact with this visualization. And this is giving people a so nice view of how the data goes. You don't have to see the numbers, you just see the graphics. It's very suitable for people like me. I hate to see the numbers. Not only the people flow, you can also see the pedestrians, bicycles, and vehicles due to this in this area. And also you can see the daily services, and this is the power consumption. Even we have the power consumption area, well, there's open API. So I, by the way, introduced that. Now we will be able to solve the problems of city planners and event organizers by crunching into the back data and people's flow. It will show you how visualize this people flow and the big data would be. It's very beneficial for event organizers and for city planners. So this is the visualization of the whole autonomy area. And also, we do have the visualization of the building, which is the data I was crunching when we have the...
What you showed.
Yes. Yeah. So this is the visualization of people that I showed you, the Wi-Fi
and we
data.
Can see that
yes. So this is the real data from Wi-Fi in the Valley building. This is the blueprint of the Valley building. And as you can see, this guy has earning some points because he has been moving and contact people, so he will get points. This is the gamification of this part. So they're moving, and you know which, this is one group, for example, this is another group due to the color, and they are now competing each other in here.
So now, what are the colors? Could I, for example, see there who are mentors or who are teachers or who are students?
Of course, in the real life, we can have different rules. For example, you try to find out, I'm a sales guy, I try to find out other projects. So different project will mark in a different color.
Yeah, so that's great. If we have an event and they're registered, we know their role, and then we start to see what is happening.
That is right.
And it's both for the visitor and for the organizer and the booths.
Yes. Yeah. So different color can mean different things. It's also definable.
Wonderful. I think that you have solved one problem which is present in all events.
Yes,
How to put people together.
I hope so.
Wonderful.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you to team number 14 for that presentation. So up next in, we have questions.
I have a question, Ian.
Yes.
I wanted to ask the team, so whether they are building a software or a hardware solution. So this map is like a software, or it's also connected to a hardware that you showed on the display.
Yes, we're making both software, hardware. It's a package, it's a solution. So both software and hardware.
Mm-hmm. And the solution is totally connected with Wi-Fi of the people, yeah?
This positioning can be connected. It's an API. It can connect to Wi-Fi. That's a way how we acquire the data. If it is possible to acquire the data, then we can visualize it and gamificate it. So the Wi-Fi data itself is, we agreed with other university. Of course, we need to take care of the privacies and so on. So we didn't get them ourselves. Like me, no, but we need to get authorized to use the data. And normally people have Wi-Fi everywhere. For example, have Bluetooth everywhere, but they don't know where they just connected, but we see, they don't see. So it's another perspective to see how the data was collected. That is one of the idea.
Okay, so this is great, and I have also one question. What are your nearest future plans? So what are you planning to do with this technology, or have you already have some pilots, or what's the status?
Yes, this project used to belongs to. We were working together with MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology in USA, and since that was also a city science research project. So I would say this has a potential for commercial market. So that is why I'm pushing it to the commercial market. And of course, we have AR and not VR, but AR already. Well, my thesis was partly about it, but that is a sidetrack. But today we are talking about this board
and how to gamify and how to visualize and how to crunch into the data from another perspective to see the people's flow so that we know a lot about people's behavior. But of course, it's a dot. You don't know who he is. There's a dot. So that is also separate from privacy and a crowd. I actually did a research with Elisa as well. They also did a similar thing, but not on Wi-Fi, but on 4G. Yes.
Yeah, I have a question also about privacy. Yeah, because you just said you answered some questions, but then you said that it's separated from the humans. You see only dots, but then in your presentation you mentioned that you still can figure out whether it's a mentor or a teacher. So there is some data reviewed. So
yes,
how these types of projects they go with privacy? What are the steps?
Yes, exactly. So the privacy means that when I don't want you to know, you don't know. What I want you to know, you should know, or you are recommended to know. If I would like to share my position data, you will know. But sometimes when I don't even mind, people don't know where I am. For example, I am a salesperson looking for a project, and in this big exhibition, I don't know where to find those people. I don't know where everybody is going. Where's everybody going? Or what is happening? So if I see this hot map, I see where the people are going. I could follow them to see what happens. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to find a specific person, but I'm going to find a trend, like what is happening. Then I need to find out what is happening.
Yeah.
So that is also a very, very, very good question. Thank you very much. It's a balance between the privacy and what kind of area you don't mind sharing. But
Okay,
of course, everybody
the
care
question
about
is, for example, let's take the example of the exhibition, right? I, as a visitor, I enter the exhibition where the system is implemented. Am I aware before I enter the exhibition that actually I would be traced, right? Even as a dot, that my movements would be traced and someone could also follow me, or even as a dot. Would I be aware of that before entering that?
Very quickly, Aka, and then I think Gary has a question as well that he'd like to ask. So very quick with this, and we can move on then.
Yes, when you don't agree, your data is not shared.
Okay, so I know in upfront, even before.
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
Yes.
Thank you.
I follow that what you said, because I was there when it was discussed, this event concept. So there was idea that it's a part of the service what the event organizer have. And when you go to Slush or something like that, you register and then you allow it or not to allow.
That's
and then
correct.
you know what's the profile. It comes from event organizers, but it's in all. That was idea I know that they discussed about.
Okay,
It was in not the presentation.
that's good. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you to Aka from team number 14. Aviram, thank you for that pitch as well. Thank you to the jury for the questions to that team. We'll move on then to team number 17, which is Team Laponia House.
Laponia mini homes for various different purposes. In the summer and in winter for your personal and rental use as a holiday home. Laponia mini homes are designed and built to be moved cost effectively. For example, by the sea or lakeside in the summer and at the ski resort in the winter. As a small detached house or a workspace. Laponia mini homes have everything you need for normal living. The houses have a kitchen and a bathroom. They sleep 4 to 6 people, and they have a compact living dining area. The Laponia 45+9 model also has a separate bedroom and a sauna. 2 generations living side by side in an existing plot as a residential building. For example, an elderly person might want to rent land for a family with a mini home. The elderly landlord gets security and help with the chores
and the person or family living in the mini home gets their own home. Lapponia 45 plus loft 9 squares. This model is the largest modular house in the mini home collection, with a separate bedroom and sauna. The design of the house has taken into account energy efficient squares and is a functional home with sleeping accommodation for 6 people. Lapponia 45 is also ideal for rental use. The large loft, which is approximately 9 squares, has sleeping area for many people. Lapponia 24 plus loft 6 squares. In this model, the room height of the living room is 3.3 meters. At the end of the house, there's a spacious landscape windows. The low stairs lead to a large sleeping loft. There's plenty of storage space under the stairs. This turnkey house has a high-quality kitchenette and a bathroom. The house has sleeping accommodation for 4 people.
Thank you, team number 17, for that presentation, Lapponia House. Now to the jury for questions.
I think they're beautiful. They're well designed. The concept is great, but also all the way it is built. I think it's great. But the only thing is that I think I've seen already many similar projects worldwide, and okay, you could say this is the Finnish style and the Finnish look and feel and brand that probably has a huge attraction for many people in the world. But apart to being Finnish thought and produced, what would make you unique, you think, compared to competition?
Yes. It's actually, as far as we know, the only movable, mobile, modular log house, mini house concept. It's actually thermolog. It's got a frame structure and certain type of insulation. But as far as log houses go, it's movable and modular, meaning it's turnkey ready when it arrives on the site. It seems, at least in Finland or Scandinavia, that the log house construction is a growing trend because of healthy indoor air quality. We've built houses for 20 years with sort of very compact, airtight structure and mechanical air circulation, and it tends to lead to problems with indoor air. So that's one of the reasons why log houses are preferred at the moment. Also, there's studies that it's good for human health, mental health. There's a connection with human and wood. It's good to see log house.
There are many other, let's say, more or less similar solutions around the world, and it's a growing interest. But what is the price level? How cheap you can make that? So because that's part of the market system. That's to fit to the Finland or Scandinavia, both for the countryside, summer cottages, but as well for let's say cities with a huge area, so but close to the traditional housing areas, residence areas. But the price is an issue, of course, always.
Yes, yes. Yeah, typical prices for turnkey houses is 2,000 euros per square meter. It depends a lot on the level of equipment, depending on what kind of windows, what kind of wall thickness, how much insulation, the kitchen, the bathroom. It varies a lot, but it's pre-cut delivery starting from maybe 600 euros per square meter, all the way to luxury, fully turnkey house, maybe 2,400 euros per square meter, and everything in between, depending on selections.
Can I ask a question about how many times you can move your house because of seismic activities then quickly destroyed your building? Because I have an experience in such construction, but there is this difficulty.
Actually, a very good question. Thank you. Log houses withstand earthquakes even up to, I think, 6.47 Richter scale. So they would be ideal for earthquake areas such as Japan and wherever.
No, it's not about earthquake. It's about when you move house from one place to another place. It's like a activity in interior and exterior and materials.
Yes. Yes. Okay, that would be one of the, I see what you mean, and that would be one of the points that we would want to concentrate on in the project. Namely, for instance, the bathroom tiles, they would be typical to crack when it is a sturdy and firm structure, and it's supposed to stand lifting and moving. But yeah, tiles and such might crack, but there's different alternatives for typical tiles options and that we might want to select. But yes, that would be one of the testing areas.
You can think about how you can make innovation in this type, because all the people use the same materials, and you can use in your house some materials that can give your house more life, more long life.
Yeah, yes, that would be during the scope of testing, because we're planning to have a test house or cluster of houses at the Otaniemi area. So yes, one of the part of the project would be moving the lifting of the houses and moving them around, and yeah.
I think Kari maybe has a quick question for you.
Yeah, it was so quick what you planned to do in your presentation, so that I think people didn't catch it. So the idea, if I understood it right, it's so that now you start the pilot project, which takes 1 year, where the arts and design students and research are attached, and all these things, what Olga and you asked, would be then tested during that, and then you had to the next Helsinki Design Week 1 year from their existing tested prototype of clusters. So there was also I read it that it was that how those small houses interact with each other. And there is a starting project in architectural department in Aalto, which this could be attached. So that was written in small there and very fast.
Yes, at least on my screen, I can't read any of the texts in the presentation, but yes, that is to implement the mini house pilot in Otaniemi in 2020-21, and then combine various departments from Aalto University and learn and create a sort of a platform for, because we can build the house, we can give the frames for that, but then there's different, like endless amount of needs that people have and ideas that make it a living lab.
Okay, perfect. Hey, thank you, Petri, for the presentation, and thank you for answering those questions from the jury, and thank you once again to the jury for those relevant questions, challenging questions, I think, as well. But we'll move on then to the last team of today. So the very last pitch comes from a team called Project BB, and that's team number 18.
Hi there, Ultrac. This is Project BB. Let me tell you all about our beach cleaning robot. My name is Edwin Bos. I'm one of the co-founders of Tactics together with Martijn Lukaert, and with our company we want to solve societal issues with new tech. First off, let me show you a teaser. I hope you're getting excited already, but let's face it, there is a worldwide issue. And the worldwide issue is littering on beaches. This costs a lot of money for the municipality to clean, and of course this is bad for the planet. We need to do something about it. It's time for action, and we came up with a beach cleaning robot that focuses on small litter. Here it is. It's a prototype finished in January and ready for demos on the beach. It can already detect cigarette butts, but we want to train it, train its detection algorithm so it can learn how to detect more and more litter, and we will ask the public, the general public, to help us. We do this in a fun way to embark them, engage them, and not only to train the algorithm, but also to make sure that we work on consciousness about this topic. Therefore, we came up with a concept for a game wherein they can help to annotate litter, label litter, and that way train the algorithm. Let me show you the first clickable demo that we already made. It's a game where you can drive around with the digital version of the robot. You can modify it totally. And when you see an object, you will see then a picture of litter, actual litter, and you can help to annotate the photo and label the photo. And like I said, that way we can train the algorithm. We do this in a fun way. People are really becoming heroes, and yeah, this is their way to save the planet. We made a lot of progress in the past few months. We did a lot of research on this topic. We teamed up with a local environmental organization called Treasure Hunt, who is helping us to improve the game. We made a cool design. We have a lot of things in place, but for this hackathon, we wanted to focus on bringing it to the next level. We got the help from awesome mentors. We had a very inspiring teammate called Novi, who did the visual design, and also together we worked on the customer journey map. This is really, really helpful for us and a big improvement during this hackathon. We now have a good overview of the persona that could play this serious game we're making. We have a good view of touch points, customer feelings, and ideas for improvement in every stage. And this is really going to bring it to the next level. Furthermore, our mentors helped us to do a pestle to get a good overview of macro environmental factors. Furthermore, we did a 10 SEM-SOM. So now, doing research, we know more about the total addressable market, which is huge, 265 billion. For the serviceable addressable market, we looked only at The Hague, where we live. We know that every day it costs the municipality 18,000 euros to clean. So on a yearly basis, this is again huge. And we want to get a market share. Our SOM within 2 years should be around 50%. So that should be interesting enough to develop the robots, and of course to develop the serious game, so we can move ahead and have a human-assisted robot, a very unique approach, of course to save the planet. We also looked at our business model together with the coaches. It was very helpful. We know what our strong points are, our weaknesses, and where we can improve. So yes, it was an awesome hackathon. Really looking forward to the judges' opinion. And thank you. Vote for us. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thank you for that pitch from Team Project BB, team number 18. Now to the jury for some questions.
Who are your customers? Who are you planning? Who you think will use this project with this product?
Yeah, so it's mainly business to government. So in first phase, we focus on municipalities, first in the Netherlands, and then expand. But we already have a launching customer in the city of The Hague, who are supporting us to do several experiments and demos in The Hague.
Because it seems to me like a very nice toy for children. So do you think about that? That can be used for teaching at schools, but also just for children to play with. They like such kind of stuff.
Yeah, the idea of the project is to create awareness. So we definitely see that people like the idea of the project, and we already got a few schools who approached us who said, okay, can you come over to do a presentation, show the prototype, show how the game would work. And especially for the youngsters, this is indeed very interesting.
And let's look at it from the city perspective. So practically every city needs not only one, but a huge number of these kind of robots to clean the streets or parks or beaches. So, but what is the practical size of that? Or especially parents are afraid that their young children are playing on the beach, and then there comes a huge army of robots and scares them.
Yeah, like I said, this is the first prototype. We have the luck that we can do experiments in a living lab. So it's a safe environment. The robot is equipped with cameras, also camera up front. So it will see stick figures of people to make sure that it doesn't hit anyone. So step by step, but we of course need to make sure that it's safe.
I have a question. I really like the idea of training the robot, the machine with the game. But the question is, how will you promote the game? How will you actually people make playing it to train the machine? Why? What is the motivation for them to play?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. That's one of the things we also questioned during this hackathon. Things we are challenging for us as well. So we have a few ideas for that already. But one of the things we're doing, like I said, we're teaming up with an environmental organization, local organization in The Hague called Treasure Hunt. And they already perform live beach cleanups. And so we know that these people definitely are motivated to clean the beach. So they would be our first group of people we want to interest for the game, and then ask them to spread the word. And of course we need to do a social campaign as well.
Yeah, I like this project also because there is like a bigger value if we go beyond trash. There is also a meaning of how we humans would coexist with robots, because it's also a good example when basically the robot and the machine takes over the human labor, right? And then it's nice that the human then trains this machine to do its work. So it's also another another point in for future to think about.
Yeah, we see this project also as a broader research project that has multiple sites. So indeed, making the way for robots in public space, that's one of the things we also dive into.
Yeah, it's a classical example of Dutch design. It's what Dutch design is famous of.
Thank you.
Any more questions? No. If there's no further questions for team number 18, thank you, Edwin. Thank you, team Project Beachbot.
You're welcome.
Yep. And now everyone can breathe. The hard work for the teams is done. Your pitches are completed. The answers to the jury questions have been sent. The difficult work is now in the jury to decide on who will be the winners for the European Design Upgrade Hackathon. So what happens now? The jury will disappear. They'll try to make up their minds and have a very long discussion, sweating, no doubt, to choose the winners. For the teams, we'd like you to remain here. Franklin will take over as host, and she will start to get a lot of collaboration, a lot of discussion going on with the teams. Because what we're finding is, like, already in the chat for the Zoom, in Slack, the teams are already starting to give advice and feedback to some of the others. So perhaps let's facilitate this in a live session while the jury are making their decision. So thank you all for joining this session. Thank you to the teams for the amazing pitches. Thank you to the jury for those tough questions. Thank you to the viewers outside of the hackathon who've been watching the live stream. We hope you enjoyed the results of the European Design Upgrade Hackathon 2020. And we will be back very shortly to announce the winners. So thank you for this session.
And thank you, Ian, for you UltraHack team who has wonderful work for our project. So thanks to you and all who are behind you.
Not a problem. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Kari. So for the jury, I've sent you a link in Slack. Just head over to that link in about, we'll give you 5 minutes, and then we can start the deliberation. So if we start the deliberation in about...
Let's take 10 minutes.
Okay, yeah, 10 minutes. So at about 2:05, I'll join, and you can join when you're ready. So thank you.
So nobody is speaking here. Everybody is looking at each other's picture or each other's profile picture or each other's name, but nobody speaks. So I think I should speak something. I have a side job, which I have a side job, which is a magician.